All right, welcome everyone to the 2022 Advocate Awards show presentation. I will be the host, Jared Napolitano, aka JNAP, the marketing advocate. And with me tonight, I have Chris Schoenthal, the tournament advocate, and Keith Brown, the communications advocate. Why don't you guys say hi? Show, start first.
Hello, everybody. I'm Chris.
And I'm Keith.
All right.
Actually, this is my first time on live show. Glad to be able to join you guys.
So thanks for joining me, guys, and thanks to everyone who's watching for joining. We may have some of the other advocates pop in and out, possibly during the show here. We'll try to keep this close to an hour. It might go 90. We have a lot of exciting things to talk about. Obviously, most importantly, we're going to be announcing the 2022 Advocate Award winners, and which is, I'll use that term for the 8 most impactful volunteers, and then under that 8 we'll have the John Anderson Volunteer of the Year Award. We'll also announce Content Creators of the Year, and we'll get into that a little bit after the Volunteer Awards. And then we have some pretty exciting announcements after that happens, and then we will close up with just some more normal. Hey, lots of things going on in the game, and then we'll end with a little surprise at the end as well. So lots of really great stuff to talk about. And I guess I'll just start. I'll kick it off. A little bit of the history here, real quick. I'll try to be brief. So basically, a couple years ago, several years ago, as Keith and Show know way more than I do, the Advocate Council would award Volunteer of the Year award. So that was more singular. I know Chris Goglin won it once, Kevin Yacht won it once, Jerry Heine won it once. And then come 2020, during the pandemic, there was just a lot of people doing a lot of good stuff just to keep the game afloat. So I remember Scott was having a hard time narrowing it down to one or two people. So he ended up giving out 8 volunteer award trophies. And then the year after that, I was an advocate at that point. I thought, this is a really good idea. We should kind of do this. We can have, not necessarily each advocate in each area be, completely one-to-one represented, but kind of had an approach of like, all right, each advocate will kind of have like sponsor a certain volunteer and go from there. And then this year, keep the momentum going. There's just so many great things going on in the game, so many different initiatives that certain volunteers are just owning and just driving forward and continually improving. And it's just really great to see. And getting this list down to 8 people was very difficult. And we've had a couple of people that won multiple years already. We do want to try to recognize different people. Even though there's 8, I feel like we can give out like 20 a year in some senses, but we do have to narrow it down, and we want to try to have a little diversity at the same time. If there's some people that are just kind of forcing our hand, they're just constantly doing awesome stuff and constantly improving. We also have to acknowledge that. So that's the quick background there. Let me toss it to Show, because we have the Volunteer of the Year Award trophy, and that's named after John Anderson, who I know you were close with. And I unfortunately didn't get to meet John that much just when I came back to the game, but it definitely seems like he's a great person to name the award after.
Yeah, no, I thought that was extremely fitting to name it after John. It's hard for me to think of an area of the Players Committee that John didn't volunteer for at some point or another. He was just an incredible asset and so passionate about the game. Was at every major, it seemed like. And I know, there's a regular crowd. But John wasn't necessarily a top player. He wasn't winning these majors, but he was just always there, always smiling, always having a great time. And then between majors, he was always on the boards. There's still threads to this day. I know the Gemp changelog, his original post is there, and then there's multiple threads in the tournament committee, and then other areas of the organization as well that I still see his posts, and it kind of hits me every time I see it, because he's deeply missed, and he did a lot for the game, and we miss him quite a bit. And so I think that it was very fitting to name the volunteer award after somebody who gave so much to the game.
Yeah. Amen. so with that, we'll transition into, we have 7 Advocate Award winners and then the Volunteer of the Year Award, as we just touched upon. These, we, as the Advocate Council, we met, we discussed, we had a short list at the beginning of the year, we added to it, we tweaked to it, kind of bumped the thread a couple times during the course of the year of, some people are doing great things, let's make sure they're being considered. We had a list of probably around 18, 20 people that we were considering, and then it's just a little tough to narrow it down the more recent weeks. But we have some talking points that we definitely want to touch upon with each of these. I'm sure Sho and Keith and I will speak on behalf of all 7 of the advocates, but definitely wanted to make sure we touch on kind of the key points for each of these 8 individuals. So with that, we can start with the first one, which will be Keith and communications and his pick. Do you want to kick that off, Keith?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Drew. So I'll just right into it. I'm on dad duty tonight. My pick is someone who definitely helps out my group a lot. Different responsibilities I manage. Is someone who has been recognized in the past, but I chose him because he does such a standout job and is very helpful for us. For you, I guess my pick is James Martin this year, aka Solid Snack, and I've chosen him because of his tireless dedication. He's kind of the man with the megaphone for Star Wars CCG News. He posts stuff to the Twitter, to the Instagram account. He's been managing and growing both of those this past year and years before. Just been such an asset for us. He has also led the deck list scribes team, which kind of helps put together deck lists after all major events. He's kind of helped reimagine how quickly deck lists can be posted after major events. It takes the point on that right after events. That's always very appreciated by everyone, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. Additionally, he's been crucial to the donations program. The last couple of years, he's helped generate some of our custom card sheets. And he's also helped the Hollow Theater team in a variety of ways. So just kind of doing a lot, and a lot of it's not very noticeable work unless actually doing it. So that's why I've chosen to recognize him once again this year. Thanks for everything you do, James. You're amazing.
Yeah, congratulations, James.
Yeah, James. Absolutely. I would jump in and strongly second that. If Keith hadn't picked him, he was on my short list as well. As Keith mentioned, he's been doing a lot with the deck lists. He also put together a spreadsheet that his team fills in the archetypes in real time once the deck lists are submitted for majors. And he has this nifty little macro where you can just pull down the name of the players that are available, and it'll tell you what decks they're playing. So you can kind of match up we've already seen communing twice on stream. Let's try and get somebody else on stream or what have you. And it's been invaluable. And he's also been incredibly flexible and accommodating when it comes to different issues that we've had and ideas like the SoCal or the San Diego Super Open. When we were considering the idea of allowing people to switch decks, I ran it by him to see how his team would handle that. And he said, we're here to support you and the tournament committee in any way we can. And so that was just very heartening. And so thank you, James. You're awesome.
Yeah. James is amazing. I mean, he won an award last year, and he definitely validated getting a second award in a row, even though the bar is very high for that. He's just grown. I mean, last year he was my successor to kind of manning the Twitter account, but he's done so many other things. I mean, it was funny in some of the player survey responses, there was more than one person that basically said, for the answer of where's the first place you check to get your news, and they said Solid Snack or the Gemp Lobby via Solid Snack. So it's that the donations program stuff. I felt bad at one point because he was generating all those 9-card sheets for everybody for the last 2 years, and for one reason, just to kind of mix that up as an incentive, but the other reason I was like, this is a lot of work. So maybe we should alternate this off. But yeah, and he's really natural on Hollow Theater when he fills in as a co-host, and he's even streamed some games. I know earlier this year. I'm trying to think of the exact event, but I know it might have been Outrider. But there were some games early in the morning. He was streaming when we didn't have anybody else to do it. So yeah, kudos to James. Great stuff. Congrats, James. Oh, and I should say I should have led off with this too. I gave a little of the background. Let me just remind real quick. So we have like a prize package for all the Advocate Award winners, all 8. It's actually the same thing as last year. So they will get a choice of a Series 2 PC deck box. And this was announced when I announced about the Series 2 deck boxes. They're pretty much exclusively for the donations program, with this exception for these Advocate Award winners. And they deserve it given the amount of time and effort and just the amount of the breadth of the different areas that they touch. So they get that. They'll get an ultra rare poker chip. They'll get a player card design. There's one point we were talking about maybe if somebody like James, who won it last year, maybe they want to get a player card design, but they deserve it. So he'll have a second one, a free event voucher, and a trophy, which we actually just ordered today. We've just been going through the proofing process for that. So those, I think that's everything. Oh, and like last year too, they'll also get 2 copies of foil slips of their choice with imprinted in the lore, a 2022 Advocate Award winner. So great stuff. So everyone will get those. So just as a housekeeping note. All right. So our next person, I'll toss it to Show to do tournaments. His pick.
Thank you, Jared. So my award winner, the person that I chose, is somebody who's been working with the organization for a long time now, and is also a tireless volunteer and has done a lot for the tournament committee specifically. My winner is Taco Bill Kafer. So Bill, as many people know, is very involved in the tournament scene. But I think a lot of people don't really realize sort of the depth of his involvement. He has been a real driving force when it comes to the diversity of the tournaments that we've offered. He's helped out by sort of creating that event calendar post. He was the first one to do that, and we thought that was an incredible idea and have done it every year since, and plan to continue that going forward to give the community an idea of what sort of events they can expect, both online and in person. In the last couple of years, he's worked specifically very heavily on the NPC, which is to be expected. That's kind of Greg's, Chris Goblin, and Scott's baby from back in the day. So he worked on the 2022 NPC, but also did a lot of work on the Jawa Cup, the PC 20 tournament that we held, the Jawa Brawl event, and the Champions League that's running right now for all the winners of leagues across the world, which is really cool. He also was the kind of the generator of the idea for the 2022 Retro League that we had, that was also very popular and successful. And in addition to that, he does other things besides tournament stuff. Honestly, he's a lot like I described John. He's got his hands in a lot of places in the organization, and he's incredibly valuable to us. He works on proofing, and then he also is a volunteer in terms of creating content with us. He streams a lot of games, does programming, and all sorts of other things. So thank you for all you do for the organization, Bill, and you're awesome. So congratulations on the Advocate Award.
Yeah, just a couple points I'll add. Echo all that great stuff from Show. I mean, he was one of the first people that came to mind when, January. We were like, let's start a list here, because at that point he was running the Jawa Cup, which was, I think, close to 90. Maybe it started around 90 people. So there's a lot of people doing the Swiss pairing, sending all that out. Just a lot of work. The Retro League. It was just kind of like, I was just kind of focused in some of the more, I kind of was in the lost in the forest, so to speak. And Bill one day was just like, why don't we do a retro event? That sounds good, right? I'm like, yeah, great idea. Like, I feel like we're building a lot of momentum for retro competitions, and that really went well this year. Lots of great positive feedback on that. And Bill is awesome, well deserving of this award. I think he actually was one of the 8 people that got an award back in 2020. But yeah, just continually thinks of new things and keeps improving. And handles and owns lots of different things, and it's his fault that Chris Kelly isn't able to join tonight because of the Champions League idea. But I just say that tongue in cheek. But yeah, congrats, Bill. Okay. All right. So next, we'll speak on behalf of Adam Fletcher, our technology advocate. Adam's choice. We'll say Adam's choice again. A lot of these, it's a collaboration. Jeremy DiPaolo. So congrats to Jeremy. A lot of people are aware that Jeremy is one of the primary coders, him and Adam, on GEMP, and he basically did almost all of the coding for Virtual Set 19. That was over the summer. That came out in August. He's constantly. I remember he added something recently, like the Senate counter, basically your politics and like pod racing stuff, and I think those types of features that he's always working on improving, along with obviously side by side with Adam, and he's been running the Kessling Run podcast, which is great content. I think they're about 6 or 7 episodes in. That's really great, and definitely recommend people listen to the episode where they featured Jeremy and his story, and how involved he was with GEMP back in 2018, 2019, 2020, and just how crucial GEMP was during the pandemic to keep the momentum going, get new cards out, play testing working. Like, we just can't say enough of how important that was, despite being unable to have in-person events for several months, and maybe even a little more than a year, really. And Jeremy's also commentated some events. He did, I get these events mixed up. I think he top 8'd Endor and or Nationals and Endor. He had 2 top 8s this year at Worlds, which was awesome. But I know he did a lot of commentary on one of them. I think the MPC. Yeah, he did like the full weekend basically back in January. So that was awesome, and yeah, just lots of different contributions from Jeremy, and congratulations to him. Anything to add, Keith or Show, on Jeremy?
Not really. I think you described his accolades quite well.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next. So we'll have Greg, Greg Zinn, of course, our rules advocate, and this person, I mean, really any of us could have picked this one, and this individual is one of the people, along with Bill, that very first came to mind back in like January, February. It's really he just does a lot, and we'll get into one of the individuals who I would consider kind of like the lifeblood of the of one of our communities here. I don't want to spoil it, but I would say this individual is like the lifeblood in a lot of ways of in-person gaming, especially this year. And he just really gets into the spirit of Star Wars CCG and the community that it is. And I think I'll go into a couple specifics, but I'll announce this is Kendall Hallman. Kendall Hallman is one of the Advocate Award winners. He probably played more in person Star Wars CCG in sanctioned events, we'll say, than anybody else. He drove to locals. He drove all over the place. He flew down to Atlanta. I think he attended over 20 events this year, and most of them obviously Ohio, Indiana. But he made his way around, and we definitely could talk about his deck tech initiative. He led that for the open. Open format, and those are really, really well received. Those are something that a lot of new players really ask for a lot, and he led and coordinated that, and got other people involved, and helped write scripts, helped deliver them. Those were great. He obviously has his, as just about everyone's aware, his Corn on the Horn / Bad Deck Breakdown series. Interviews all different types of people, from Jerry Darcy and Chuck Kallenbach, I think I'm saying that right, from the Cypher, and then also his World Championship interview series this year. I know we did Tom Hade and Phil Assen. Also, what was the other one he just did recently? Drew Scott from 2005, I believe it was, or 2006. Just all different types of really interesting people he's interviewed. And then, of course, he does the Bad Deck Breakdowns, which I think that stuff's really important, because I think there's a lot of players in our community, even open, that like those more casual angles. And why is this a bad deck? So we get into that, which is really neat, and just kind of looking at the game a little differently than some of the people who are very, very, very competitive. And his he's made a couple different like music videos, we'll say, that are just amazing. He did like a song for the Jawa Cup. I think it's called Under the Hood. And then there's the one he did with Worlds, which was an awesome compilation. And then he did a Top Beta Major from Jedi Survivor, which these are all awesome. They're real catchy. They're great. I'm sure they took a lot of time to compose the lyrics to play out on the ukulele. I think that's what he's playing, but I could be wrong. But yeah, just awesome stuff from Kendall all year.
Yeah, I definitely agree with this pick. This is very cool to see Kendall pick up one of these awards, and again, well deserved. It's great to see all of his just constant enthusiasm for the game, and like you said, being willing to travel, to do road trips, to do content on road trips. You know, a very active member of the Slack, and just basically everywhere in the Star Wars community, which is really cool. So we love the passion and the enthusiasm that you bring to the community, Kendall. So thank you.
Yeah, those interviews that he does when he goes to majors and he asks 3 questions, that stuff's just great. It's a form of tournament reports, which are awesome. He's saying in the chat he's having issues. I don't know if he's being snarky or if anyone else is having issues, let us know. We definitely don't want any tech issues to get in the way of this, but congratulations to Kendall. Okay. All right, so we'll move on. We'll go to our 5th award winner. Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm not getting any messages from anybody about issues, so maybe everything's okay.
It may just be the tears in his eyes. I'm sure that's it. He's very emotional.
Okay. All right. So this one, we'll say this is Scott's pick, and this one I think that makes sense for Scott in several different ways. But I'll kick it off. So this award.
Do you want me to do this one?
Yeah. You kick it off for sure.
Sure. Yeah. So this individual has just really displayed a lot of passion and creativity when it comes to some various aspects of the community, and has really shown a lot of initiative in stepping up and leading some of our different programs. So Scott's Advocate Award goes to Sam Tashima. And so Sam has, like I said, really stepped up, and he's been leading the league circuit. So he's been kind of heading up the league program, coordinating the different leagues, helping with the rule set that we just released for 2023. All sorts of things related to those leagues, which are so important to our local communities, and making sure that the game is played not just at majors, but everywhere, local game stores across the world. And so his efforts there are well deserving of such an award. He's also been working on the pins that we've been giving out at events that are very cool, and I know that a lot of people have been appreciative of those as a new kind of entry to our prize support arsenal. A couple of people even have gotten little boards to put the pins on, which is really neat. Yep. He's also worked on a variety of other prize support ideas, kind of just bringing a fresh set of eyes to the prize support program, and trying to figure out what people might like that are not necessarily things that we would have thought of otherwise. And so that's been really helpful. And he's also worked specifically with the tournament committee, and like I said, with the league programs a lot, and he's brought a lot to the table there. And so I am glad that Scott picked him.
Yeah, echo all that. But one thing I would add is just Sam's been running the Bespin League for 3 years now, and that's probably the biggest of all the leagues, and he runs it very, very smoothly. They do a couple different events. There's some collaboration too with Mark Walseth, and they have just a great community up there, and that's why they host majors, as they're going to be hosting another one this year in October. Or Minnesota, or April. I always get that mixed up. Endor's in October.
Yeah, we know. I mean, it's an easy error to make based on past calendars.
Yeah. So Sam's done a great job with that. And yeah, the pins, I know some people really like them. They're one of the prize support items that people either really like or they're kind of indifferent on. But one thing that EBT Adam was helping me look into was kind of the feedback, and it seems like a lot of the people that go to majors and travel like the pins more than people that don't quite as much. So we developed a plan just to how best to deploy those, and Sam's awesome with the pins. I just basically like, hey, can you help with this? So he's got all those region pins, which are really cool. A really neat item that people can like trade for different regions, and yeah, he takes care of it. He works with Ronnie on the graphics team, and it's really cool that he just seamlessly takes care of that area. Okay. Next up, we have two more, and then we'll have the Volunteer of the Year award. All right, so this is, I guess, Keith or Show, do you want to do Chris's? Kick it off. If not, I can. Okay, I can. No problem. All right, so Chris Kelly's pick. I think, and this is said a few times, and honestly, I don't think I realized it until I became an advocate and I could see just all of the activity on the forums in the proofing group. And that probably gives this away, but the winner of this award is Chris Hull, the proofing lead. Congratulations, Joker King. He won one of these last year, I believe, and he deserves it again. Especially with new sets coming out, and that's not the only thing he does, and I'll get into that in a second, but like when these new sets come out, the iterations, the attention to detail, not only in just managing the process, but then actually doing proofing, and the team that works with him, they're incredible. The things they identify, like I could stare at something for 30 minutes and not find some of the things that they identify, and maybe that's maybe a good idea, like the way that Greg does the rules quizzes. Maybe Joker King can do like proofing quizzes. Can you spot the 5 errors? But maybe that would just be fun, but also build an appreciation, because I don't think it's difficult to convey exactly all the things they do, the consistency that they have to seek out and identify, and all the new different cards. And it's not just that. He's helped with streaming. He's proactively reached out to me on a couple different things and been like, hey, I reviewed this. Here's some feedback. And that, I think, is ultimately, I think one of the things that falls under proofing is reviewing publications, reviewing stuff like that. But there's just so much activity. There's so many new cards. When there's errata, that part's kind of easy to overlook, the kind of that area. But he's awesome with that. He's proactive with it. He reaches out, and he really identifies that, and it's really, really helpful to all of us in the organization, especially us advocates. And then, obviously, I think he had huge shoes to fill stepping in for Adam. I think Chris before him, there might have been another person who led the proofing team in there as well. But he's just done a great job, and really, well deserved once again. And even like this week, I was kind of bugging him on things, and he's just always on top of it. Just a great volunteer for the organization. Okay.
Agreed.
Great stuff. Congrats, Chris. Okay, and then we'll go into the 7th Advocate Award, and this is mine. This person, I might get a little. This individual, and I was talking about it before. This person is the lifeblood, I would say, of the European community. I wish I was able to go to a European event anytime soon. It's just difficult with a couple kids and just other things. But this is Kevin Yap. Just an absolute delight, an absolute force for the European community. The prize support. Every time I get a package, I just got one today from Kevin, and I just look at it, I'm like, the amount of time and effort this guy puts in to this organization is just incredible. And this is why, several years ago, he won like outright, like the Volunteer of the Year award, and he has just the momentum has just been incredible. He just keeps doing things better and better and better. The AIs, every single alternate image that's printed out that people receive, I shouldn't say every single one, 95% of them are him, and just tirelessly going through, precisely cutting them out, sleeving them, putting backing cards in them. And he's just always coming up with new innovative stuff. He just sent me some stuff tonight that's new and fresh that I need to have this good problem of figuring out exactly how to distribute it. But one thing that really stood out to me, and just seeing some pictures and seeing some stories and reading some tournament reports from the NABU regional this year, that was back in, I think, the end of July. Just, he was the main tournament director for that. He organized it, generated countless items of prize support, participated in it, and and I just saw in those pictures that it's just like he's a leader, and it's awesome. And I'm sure everyone in Europe, they know this even more than I do. I mean, I'm just I've had some chats with him, and he's just a person who I could definitely like. Hey, we could probably talk forever about all different types of things. So, I mean, I've even gotten to the sticker book program, which was just his idea. He came up with it. It's awesome. He's going to be getting me probably close to 800 more packs in January. I mean, those things take so long to put together. All the different packs. Let me grab. I said I had some props. I mean, he sent me these. These are like basically the say these are like the museum. Like I keep these like sealed. These are going to be like as a keepsake in a way to. He sent me samples of them. He just sent me a whole like. I could just go on and on about all the different awesome things that he does, things that he comes up with, and yeah, I could babble a while. But Kevin's awesome. Kevin deserves this. Yeah, and Sho and Keith, I know I've probably worked with him, for years before I kind of came back into the game, and probably have all glowing things to say about him as well.
Also, just extremely selfless, not just from a time perspective, but he's willing to take that extra step when it comes to making these prizes that we get look good, and is not willing to take anything back for them, even when we offer. So it's just incredible how helpful he's been, and like you said, it's the European community often they aren't always as heard perhaps as they could be, and he's a great ambassador to kind of bridge that gap and allow us to be a really global organization.
Yeah, I mean, working in Napolitano is another job that's kind of thankless. You don't really know who is running it because it doesn't get a lot of attention either. All the more reason why so appreciative of what we done.
Yeah. Cheers, Kev. Okay, all right. So that's our 7. Now we'll do our John Anderson Volunteer of the Year award, and Greg summarized or did a write up here, and I'm going to read this because it's very, very well done. We have some talking points too that we might layer on as well, but I didn't want to miss anything, and this write up definitely gets the big points. So I will just read this right now. So here we go. Volunteer of the Year award. The Advocate Council is thrilled to announce that graphics lead Christian Knutson is the 2022 John Anderson Volunteer of the Year. Over the past 2 years, Christian has revolutionized the way that the Players Committee approaches graphics. Thanks to Christian, virtual sets are produced with unprecedented precision, including high resolution and standardized templating, fonts, and icons. Christian leads the charge on procuring all new images for virtual cards, which is why Virtual Set 19 features an astounding 38 full slip cards. There was one C-slip in V19, I remember. It's not just the new virtual sets that benefit from Christian's efforts. He also ensures a very sizable and stunningly beautiful selection of new alternate images for existing cards that are created each year. And if that wasn't enough, there's a massive virtual set remasters project where all older virtual sets are being brought up to the same high standards as the new sets. We'll talk a little bit more about that as well. And I just lost my spot. To date, 11 older sets have already been remastered, and the remaining 6 older sets are not far off. Furthermore, Christian has even updated and enhanced the artwork on many of the remastered cards. Christian also prepares graphical work for logos, banners, and perhaps most famously, the Star Wars CCG deck boxes, both series. Since their initial launch about a year ago, these deck boxes have become the #1 swag symbol, the ultimate chase item. The amazing artwork and stylized color options are what make these boxes so desirable, and we have Christian to thank. Christian is, of course, a graphics team lead, and we appreciate the efforts of all the team members. With this John Anderson Volunteer of the Year award, today we recognize that Christian personally performs a huge amount of these efforts himself, in addition to coordinating and leading the rest of the team. Congratulations on the award. We are grateful to have you on the team. So congratulations to Christian. And I just want to later on a couple things, and I'll toss it to Sho and Keith. So I have to laugh. I mean, like a week ago, there was like 5-6 different forum threads of very important stuff that Christian was just like responding, attacking to, and I'm just like, my gosh, this guy is so passionate. He does things so well. so precise, and then just the breadth of his skills are just awesome. I was like, this is why we're giving him this award. It's of course very, very well received. He won one of the awards last year. Like Greg alluded to, he reinvented how we're doing graphics now. People, I mean, for better or worse, the images are so poignant, and that's what catches people's eyes on social media, in the Facebook group, when people who just love new cards. The images are always, and every set that's come out, especially since Christian's been involved, better and better. He's doing all different parts of the process. The AIs are just incredible, which of course Chris Menzel and Kevin helped him out with as well. But the remastered project, we'll talk a little bit more about that. I see some posts in that thread about this is underrated or this is so amazing. I'm like, it's going to get even better. And yeah, us as the advocates, and I'm sure other volunteers and people and many people in the community are not underrating that initiative. It's fantastic when you see those cards on Gemp, when you see them in Scomp, when you see them in VKit. It's such a noticeable difference just how much sharper they are. I know me as marketing, I'm always bugging him for stuff, and he pretty much always comes through. I think he does a good job of leveraging his team in some cases, or a bunch of cases where it makes sense to. And yeah, so just can't say enough. I know if anyone's interested more, I interviewed him when I was filling in for Dan, I think back in May on Holo Theater. That episode on YouTube, just really interesting, great stuff, and Christian's awesome. So congratulations once again. Let me toss it to Show if he has anything else. I babbled there for a while, but
No, I mean, I think you hit a lot of the salient points. I'm just constantly in awe when I look at VSets, but also when I look at the prizing items, like Greg mentioned, the deck boxes, but even the event logos that they come up with, just everything about our graphics program. I feel like, and this is not to demean any past graphical efforts, but for a while, I feel like we were kind of surviving when it came to graphics. Not struggling necessarily, but there were certainly cards that we were like, oh, it'd be really nice if we had a cosplayer for this. Or, I wish we could do something better than like a C-slip of an operative for. And now we can just do that with impunity because his work is just so incredibly off the charts amazing. And it's a real credit to him and his team that our sets just look so great.
Right, and that's so especially important now is Star Wars content. We're drifting into things beyond the original movies, so to be able to have those kind of images, it just takes what we can do and elevates it to a whole nother level. It's just amazing, and yeah, we owe him a lot. He creates so many fun things for the community too, and that helps engage others. It helps engage old and new and returning players. Old players. It brings that kind of coolness back to us that helps us kind of grow as a community too, and it's really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Congrats once again to Christian. He's probably sleeping right now, but hopefully no one spoils it. I know him and Kevin are both pretty diligent. I know Kevin actually does stay up pretty late, but perhaps they'll watch it early side tomorrow and find out organically. Yeah. So that is. So make sure I'm not forgetting anything. The award, or the Advocate Award section of the show. Congratulations once more. I have on the screen here. So yeah, so if anyone's ever curious, StarWarsCCG.org, you can go to About Us, and there's awards. These are all the historical winners. I think we're going to be hopefully getting in a rhythm of doing like 8 per year, 7 plus the one. So we'll update this. I'll put it on my to-do list, or maybe we'll make sure that's updated. This is the one from 2020. Let's see. Yeah, this was all the awards, just as a quick flashback. So all the different stuff, which might segue into our, this was last year's post that we did, and then we have our Content Creator of the Year. So we'll talk about this. I'll do a quick briefer. So I noticed, this article is actually dated June. I just noticed in the first, half of the year, there's just so much great content being generated by all different members of the community. And I figured, we did this once before a couple years ago. Let's do this again where we recognize someone. Particularly, we encourage people to nominate. I was just kind of going off the list that I was seeing, basically different social media. Anyone felt could have nominated some other individuals. we would have added them and then encourage people, hey, go watch their stuff, so that come the end of the year when we poll the community, they have an informed opinion. And I kind of knew this was going to be a really difficult decision, so we kind of allowed, hey, we're going to announce a winner, and then honorable mentions are probably going to be the case. So in the past couple of weeks, we had a survey out to gauge 6 finalists. Basically, we wanted to try to balance folks that were doing a different diversity of stuff, for lack of a better word, that were having a lot of volume, that had good presentation value. Definitely something that you could tell they put a lot of time into. Working on the delivery, different graphics or visuals that along. I mean, obviously some of these are podcasts, so those are a little bit different where they don't have quite as many visual aspects. But we had 6 finalists. So we had, I think in the survey we had Kendall Hallman, we had Matt, Board Matt, and then Andy Davies, Massassi Training Temple. We had Aaron Freed, his NARP Plays series, Eric Garchow's pack breaking videos, and Craig Atkins, his like top 10s and some other stuff. So those are the 6, and we polled, totally understand that not everybody watched every single thing. We wanted to know, hey, basically, did you think it excellent, good, fair, or did you kind of need to abstain? So 2 of those 6, so first off, congratulations to everyone for just being nominated. There's just so much great content. All the stuff's great. I anticipate all of the finalists and others who are going to get closer are going to continually improve going forward. But there were 2 of the nominees that stood above the rest, and it was kind of difficult to kind of parse them because they're very different in a lot of ways. The 2 frontrunners, will say, but there was actually a couple of things that were similar. So I won't bury the lead much more. We're going to announce Co-Creators of the Year award. And there's a good reason why, and I'll explain in a second, but these are going to be, Kendall Hallman's going to be one of the winners, and Matt Manning for Board Matt is the other winner. So congratulations to both of them. And the thing is, I've watched pretty much every single one of their videos. I think Matt just came out with one, I know, today, or maybe hours ago. I had Kendall just always generating stuff. They just do a lot of different things, and I think Kendall's content's geared for like the person. I shouldn't say geared. I think it resonates a little bit more for the people who go to majors, play open play, playing on Gemp a lot, going to local events. At the same time, he also appeals to people who love like the old school Decipher design content. Like his Jerry Darcy series is just phenomenal. I know he had Chuck on recently. I think he had Doug Taylor on, who was involved in the early PC, one of the early advocates. So he's kind of had this split, I would say, like history and like open play. Like I said before, he interviewed like all these different world champions over the past couple of years, and just those are all great content, long form interviews, but also designers, prominent people in the game. His Bad Deck Breakdown series is awesome. Like I said, he led the deck techs for the PC, for the YouTube channel there. And the tournament reports where he asks people questions are just awesome. And then Board Matt, he's got over 50 videos, just tons and tons of views. His are definitely more concentrated for like, I would say, retro or throwback players and also collectors. And then I'd also say almost a little more towards NARP. New and returning players as well. Like he also did like a deck tech series, but they're retro decks, so a little bit different. But those are really helpful. He did a lot of them with Andy Tlaga. His state of the market collecting, and he talks about grading and the Star Wars CCG market. Those got so many views, just really incredible. Lots of engagement. But he also did some stuff like he had me on to talk about virtual cards, just as like a gateway to folks who are probably coming across and looking at some of his pack breaking and very like dedicated collector stuff. But then also he did like one where he unpacked his donations package from the PC and showed all that stuff off. He's just done lots of different types of things, and his YouTube channel is great. So I think that just makes sense for both of them to receive these awards. And fortunately, going back to Kevin, we announced that there were basically three main prizes. So one of them is a player card design. So congratulations to both of them for a virtual card. They also will get the pleasure of joining Holo Theater and being featured for their content. So Hopefully that gives them even more of a bump by going on and talking about their, what made them. Yeah, I think for Kendall, a lot of the people who watch Hollow Theater probably know a lot of that already, but it'll be interesting hearing kind of Matt's background and why he started doing all this stuff. And Kevin also sent me these 2 sets which were announced, and they're in this article here. These are, I think, 24 whiteboarder AI foils on the really cool chrome paper. They'll each get a full complete set that, maybe you guys can frame it. Maybe you want to play with them. That's fine. But these are really exclusive, really hard to find. You get 4 of these in each of those green packs that Kevin, again, tirelessly packaged up. A lot of work goes into each one of those packs. And yes, of course, and Dan mentioned that they're also going to be getting Hollow Theater Host and Heroes as well. So those packs that Dan also spends a lot of time in generating and putting them together. So congratulations to Matt and Kendall. Great stuff this year. Anything to add on that, Show and Keith?
Not really. I think it's great that we have such a diversity of content these days, that we found it so impossible to decide a single winner. And I think that you're spot on, that both of them kind of come at it from very different perspectives, and so it's really good to have them both in the community and both making great videos and podcasts and in some cases songs.
Yeah, no, I agree. A lot more to add, but yeah, it's encouraging seeing the amount of content creators starting to put stuff out there too. Being able to find those issues to talk about or present on, make a show out of. A lot of fun to watch. So, guys, we appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. I know a lot of time goes into editing that stuff, editing all the content, and preparing visuals for them, and lining up guests and coordinating that. So it's just a lot of time and effort that is definitely appreciated, and definitely gives the game more awareness, and is awesome for people who are just discovering or rediscovering the game. I do want to have one more special thank you, and we touched upon this before. As marketing advocate, I have access to a lot of prizes. I try to make sure that all volunteers get some types of things, a lot of different ways. But I think in addition to probably the proofing team, probably one of the more thankless, I shouldn't say thankless, like under the radar is probably the better word. Teams is the Deckless Scribe team, which James is the lead for that, but also Brad Iyer and Sean Lukes help a lot with that. And I just wanted a special thank you. They're going to be receiving mugs. It's like these black mugs. It's going to say, what's the exact words? I think it says, "Thank you for caring for the sacred PC text," and kind of like a pun on what, like, the sacred Jedi text line from, I think, episode 8 maybe. So kind of just a catchy little saying, I guess. So they'll have those. They'll be shipped out soon. They're with the other trophies that I feel like we ordered more trophies than like a little league league. But for well-deserving reasons. A lot of them are regionals and states, but also just a lot of volunteers getting recognized appropriately. So thank you to James, Brad, and Sean for really reinventing how quickly we can get deck lists posted, and with the help of Jemp and some standardization with those lists and making them more digital is awesome. And I know, Show and Keith and Adam, everyone is involved in deck list. They're doing a great job, that team. And if you're interested, I should probably make a PSA at the end just in case you want to get involved. But yeah, they could probably use some help, because over time we all kind of mix things up a little bit, maybe do some things different, or maybe some things come up that we have to take a little step back. So that's it. It's not rocket science, but it takes someone who's dedicated, organized, and really able to work quickly at certain times. Just because the community, within hours, you guys know, within hours of majors ending, people want deck lists. So yeah, let me do a sticker book token. So for those who are watching, again with Kevin's program, let's just do, I'm just looking at what's over here. We'll do Grand Admiral Thrawn. So he will be the sticker book token. So Grand Admiral Thrawn. All right, so segueing into the third of 4 sections of our show. We're at 52 minutes in. Hopefully we, I think maybe like hour 15 might be a good number to land at. As we did last year, we're going to announce the superlatives of the year. So we have Player of the Year, Breakout Player of the Year, Most Improved Player, and Rookie. The one that everyone knows because it's kind of just mathematical. The player of the year is Justin Desai, as is written down here. Oh wait, I'm teasing some stuff here. Let's go like this. So he's the player of the year. Congratulations, Justin. He won the OCS and obviously, of course, won his third Worlds title. Also won a handful of OCS months. I think he got a couple points as well in the PC20 event. Might have gotten some for the NPC. But yeah, just great year from him. I think this is maybe his second or third player of the year award. We have it on that one page, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. So congratulations to Justin. So let me go to my envelopes over here. Next up, we have the Breakout Player of the Year. So, and the way these three awards were just decided was last year's Player of the Year award was kind of like the overseer of a committee. I think of like 8 or 9 people, and maybe Joe can disclose a little bit about this. But Taco Bell and Joe, I think, are the main coordinators of this. Obviously, they're very well aware of who's doing well, who's kind of emerging, and then they also got some input from several others, and that's how they arrived at a conclusion. So the Breakout Player of the Year is Jeff Levine. So congratulations to Jeff. He won the Endor Grand Prix back in April, and he backed that up with a top 4 at U.S. Nationals in Minnesota, right? I'm like losing my mind. I can't keep all these majors straight. Yeah, Minnesota back in July. So congratulations to Jeff. Also, great track record with the OCS for the year. I think he had a pretty strong year. I think he might have finished a couple spots out of the at-larges. He also finished in the top 4 at the Jawa Cup, and I think he had a top 8 in the Gem PC, and both of those were in the calendar year 2022, or early on. And one really good thing about Jeff, and I talked about this in the interview when I filled in for Dan too, was Jeff had a really bad break in the Jawa Cup. There was like some jump bug that crashed his game that he was probably going to win. I think it might have actually been against Kevin. It's funny how all these volunteers, everyone's active. They all kind of intersect in a lot of ways. Volunteers, award winners, everyone. And yeah, so I think he had kind of a bad break, ended up losing the match when he probably was going to win if not for the bug. And yet he just kept his head up and obviously won major, which is not something that many people do. So congratulations to Jeff. And show Keith, feel free to jump in, interrupt me at any point if you have anything to layer on here as we go through. So Breakout Jeff Levine. Most improved. Now this player is interesting because I think everyone knows he's a very good player. This year his just like consistency is really incredible. This most improved goes to Mike Kessling, and Kessling rolled off second place in the Gem PC, which was back in March, lost to MHT. Second place in the PC20 against Tom Struther. And then he top 8'd MPC in January. He didn't top 8 Endor, but he top 8'd Nationals, maybe even top 4 Nationals. No, I think he top 8'd Nationals. And he top 8'd Euros, traveled there. And I'm pretty sure he went 5-3 at Worlds as well. And he made the OCS top 16, top 8. He got past Drew. And just a great year. Lots of really, really strong performances. I think he was one of the reasons why we were like, maybe the player of the year points, because I think he had like a oddly low amount of power player of the year points. We were like, maybe we should tweak this just a little bit, just how times have changed with more majors and size of majors and online majors and all that stuff. And just in kind of unique times too, just in kind of the pandemic and endemic world of as well, where like the NPC this year ended up getting like 30, and I think by the rules it missed a multiplier level or something like that. But
yeah, we're fixing that.
Yeah.
It's essentially he top 8'd a couple of events where based on the size, player of the year points were only assigned to top 4. But we're gonna put a floor on majors for the 2023 season where they receive a minimum amount of points, so that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, that's awesome. That'll be good going forward. But yeah, congrats to Mike. And obviously these folks will get trophies as well. They were in this big trophy order. And then last but not least for our superlatives, we have our Rookie of the Year. And this goes to Crazy Carl. I believe it's pronounced Koenig, or I would say Koenig. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. seen it pronounced a couple different times or a couple different ways, but just a really nice guy, really great guy, really dove in this year. I remember Joe Olson made a comment like, he was just participating, active in streams, really wanted to get better. Ask people. I think he's on a team now. I shouldn't say I think. I know he's on a team now. I think it could be worse, right, with Kendall and CK and everybody. And he just beat Joe Olson in the Champions League, according to Chris Hull. I think he finished second in the Corellia League, so he made it into the Champions League, which we have these cool stickers, by the way, that are holographic and circular. These are designed by Christian, and of course organized by Bill, and yeah, so he drove out to the Bothawui Regional, which is pretty cool in Nebraska. Attended Worlds, attended Nationals. Really just diving in. And that's where I wouldn't just say the Rookie of the Year solely based on performance, because he won the team tournament. Did I mention that? Yeah, there it is. At I think it was Nationals. But also he's just like constantly trying to get better and really make an earnest effort. So I would not be surprised if he starts racking up some more accolades going forward. So congratulations to Carl.
And just to be clear, Carl's award here did not have anything to do with the delicious bourbon that he gave me at Worlds. That was a side benefit.
Yeah, we were not bribed. Yeah, that was great. Just really, really nice guy. Great class act. So congratulations to Carl.
Yeah, it's always cool to see new players really dive just headfirst into the community like Carl has. It was really great getting to meet him at Worlds, and I hope to see him at many more events going forward. So congratulations, Carl.
Yeah. So that's the superlatives. One thing I should have mentioned real quick, just to shout out, KendallCast.ninja is Kendall's feed. You can also subscribe on like iTunes, which is what I do for Corn on the Horn. Check this out. He also has a lot of other content outside of Star Wars CCG. So check that out. And then this is Board Matt. You can just search probably Board Matt on YouTube, and he does like Lord of the Rings TCG. Like I said, lots of collecting, lots of videos. Check out their stuff. All good stuff. Highly recommend, and congratulations to them. So next, wanted to do a little surprise, something I've been working on with the help of a lot of other people. A little bit of a toot our, not I shouldn't say toot of our own horn. It's a historical document, I think, and I'll share this on the screen. And let's see, I might have to move us a little bit. So this, and you probably can't really see this as well, I'll post it on the forum so people can see it. This is a list of all advocates in the PC, and it's kind of in conjunction with the 20th anniversary of the PC, and just kind of asking the question of who are all the advocates, what do they do, how long do they serve, do some of them do different areas. So just a really interesting historical document. I know sometimes we don't always have the best records, but this is something that Scott helped me a lot with. I did some crowdsourcing. Doug Taylor helped me out with a handful of this. Obviously, the current advocates, some prior advocates like Tim Simon. I think this will just be neat just to have in record, so when people ask, oh, who was advocate at this time, or who did what, or who preceded whom, and that type of thing. So just a neat little thing. So we'll just post that, a little historical document. We have a couple other things with the 20th anniversary as well, as I segue back here. Let me get us up here. So Chris Kelly, our design advocate, put out an awesome article earlier this week in conjunction with the Virtual Set 20 drop. If you haven't read this, highly, highly recommend it. Just go to starwarsccg.org. It's on the right in the news, 20 years, 20 sets. This really, really poignant article talks about kind of Chris's perspective and how far the PC has come over the years, how we've evolved, how the first virtual set, we obviously had Legacy in between, but now we're at 20 expansions for the post-reset era. And we're up to almost 900 virtual cards that supplements around 2,500 Decipher cards that are all legal and active. Some different quotes in here, different players' favorite V cards. Over time, it's just been awesome how people get, virtual card designs, get involved in the player card design process. Lots of people have rotated in and out of design roles, or what's the other word I'm looking like? And now we have like these pod roles that Chris has worked on and developed. So this is really, really great read. I emphasize everyone to read it. Obviously the V20. Of course, down here we have just good old Luke Skywalker farm boy. Chris has these are courtesy of Chris with the original V slip down here. This was the 25th anniversary. We did that a couple years ago in Road to Worlds. That was one of the prizes. and then we're gonna have this AI given out. It was given out to anyone on Gemp who played a single game, I think, in the year 2022. If anyone plays it between now and the end of the year, we'll do an assessment like early January and award that to everybody as well. We get the opportunity. It's not like it's gone forever. There's also going to be some opportunities. We have to iron out exactly how or why of getting this in physical form, maybe perhaps foil as well. Yeah, really great work. And obviously, Christian found this with an artist, as we see on here. But yeah, this looks great. So, great article for Chris. Recommend everyone check that out for sure. All right, so Chris's article. So, another exciting thing. So, if you're tuning in here, if you're an old school player, a lot of this stuff obviously relates to Open, but I think we've made a lot of strides in the last year or two, and maybe even 3 in terms of retro gaming for Star Wars CCG. I'm excited to announce that we're going to have a 2023 Retro League. Details are going to be dropping on that any day now. We're also, and this is Steve Sanders who helped run the 2022 League. Andy Talaga, who's an old school player, is also going to help out, and we're going to be doing, like we had the last 2 years, an event in the spring. 2 years ago, it was Death Star 2. Ultimately, it was won by Bastion. That was an awesome top 4. It was like Bastion, Desai, Joe, and Hayes, I believe. And last year, we did the Decipher Cards Only, which was won by Johnny Chu, with Baroni and Desai and Casey. We're in there. This year, I am excited to announce a couple things. One, we're going to be doing a charity angle to this. Andy mentioned, and we have to, we're not a foundation to PC, so we can't do like 5-10 of these a year. But there are ways we can, support different not-for-profits, different causes. So Andy suggested, and this isn't set in stone, but just with the Sean Valdez, the history of him in Star Wars CCG, doing some type of charity tied into him, and possibly Jacksonville, possibly leukemia, or pediatrician hospital, a pediatric hospital. So the event's going to be in the spring. It's going to be a charity angle to it, and the format will be. Let me reveal the thing here. Got a little graphic that Andy kind of mocked up here. Premiere to special edition. So he kind of did this little mock-up, little throwback, old Decipher website. But Premiere special edition. So it will have the operative errata. There's going to be some really sweet prizes for this to encourage everyone to play and everyone to support the charity as well. The first, second place, there's going to be a split. Like we've done, like there's basically 2 really good options. Whoever finishes first has the choice. First option is going to be a light side Coruscant uncut sheet, which will kind of complement last year's dark side Coruscant uncut sheet. And the other option will be a sealed Jabba's Palace booster box. That was donated by Brian Emery, and I think it'll be a good way to use it. So those will be the 2 kind of grand prizes, and of course there'll be lots of others. We already have some ideas, but we don't want to overpromise anything. But that'll be a lot of fun. It'll be cool because it won't be like a perfect meta that happened, in the game, because by the time I think our operatives were errata. They might have been errata a second time, but we'll see. And obviously the other thing, it'll be on Gemp, and therefore not every single card is coded, which for the most part shouldn't be impactful. I'm hoping that I can plead to Adam to code Scrambled Transmission so that Don't Tread on Me can be played, but we might have to turn off one of the functions on Scrambled Transmission. So look out for news for that. That'll be exciting. We've got really good turnout last couple of years on these retro events, and honestly, the Decipher Cards Only one, that's a really tough format. We were doing a little bit for nostalgia purposes with being 20th anniversary. I think this one might be a little more appreciated, especially based on the survey that we did from retro players. So special edition. We did the end of year award. So these are the ones that Keith drafted last year. So we'll put these on the forums as well. All the news here we'll have to get onto the forums, get written forums for documentation purposes. But last year, that was what happened. All right, so online play week. That's going to be February 17th to the 26th. Like we usually do, we're going to have 2 holographic main characters. I can announce that for the first time publicly. The cards are going to be Lord Sidious and Master Windu. Those cards are going through proofing now. They look great. Anyone who participates in online play week. We're going to do a couple things a little differently. Really the big thing will be we want people, you don't have to submit screenshots. I think we'll just say, hey, just give us the GEMP replay, give us a couple sentences, give us your name and your mailing address if you want to receive the prize. And then I think what we'll do, because we did like a best of last year, and I don't know if I have it. I don't think I have it up here. We did like a best of where we had some real, funny, genuine, interesting, fascinating, different kind of stories. So if you do, if you submit something that's pretty interesting, we'll give you a special prize. I think what we're gonna do is a special type of sticker, a foil sticker or holographic sticker that look pretty cool, for people that make a good faith effort at giving us something interesting to do.
Jared, the retro, the image is covering up whatever agenda you're trying to show.
Yeah, thank you. Fortunately, I think all I did was I just had last year's online play week article up, but yeah. So yeah, thank you, Bill, in the chat. My bad, guys. So yes, online play week. We want to so a few more things here. We talked a little bit about with Christian the remastereds. The next one that's going to drop is set 13. It's amazing. I think it's the best one yet. There's going to be 8 updated images. They look great. I'll do a teaser right now, but I think we'll probably do like a separate stream. I think there's some interesting things to talk about with that set, with just the general updated images going forward. So yeah, look out for that. I was telling Joker King earlier, like I feel like I could do a stream like almost every night. There's just so many awesome and interesting things going on in the game. But for now, I will tease that set 13 is coming next. And one of the images is Val. And Val looks awesome, right? I'll remember to take her down before I start talking in the next section. But yeah, so really, really cool. Again, how far graphics has come. And keep an eye out on social media. We'll announce when we're kind of diving into that and talking about updated 13. And yeah, as Greg talked about in that speech, there's 7 sets left, and then we're almost caught up. And then I know there's some initiatives for other remastered, potentially like the Decipher erratas. Like those I think already went through. But the cards just look better and better. All right, so that's Val. That's updated. Now we'll get into kind of the home stretch here, kind of reminder announcements. So we'll talk about San Diego. I got my sunglasses arrived. These are the lightsaber ones with the blue. These are pretty cool.
Yeah, those look nice.
So I'll be sending a big package of prizes to show in the next couple weeks. San Diego, I'll toss this to show in a minute to talk a little bit about it. This is the special foil. I don't know if you guys can see this too well. I probably should put it on the digital screen. This is Dathomir Maul's Chambers. Really cool image. That's going to be the AI for participating in the event. We also have event winner AI. This is Luke the Last Jedi. Really great AI here. And we have for top 8, we have Tadirium border breaking and Invisible Hand border breaking. I guess we'll keep these a little elusive. We won't put these quite up digitally yet, but soon enough people will be getting these. So yeah, tell us a little more about San Diego, just as a reminder in case anyone's somehow unaware.
Sure, yeah. So our next major is going to be the San Diego Super Open. It's going to be January 20th through the 22nd in sunny San Diego. Crossing my fingers about the sunny part, considering the rain we've been having this week. But we're trying out a new format in terms of the schedule itself. It's kind of, as I said in the intro article, a throwback to an old format. But essentially, Saturday will be 6 games of Swiss. So fewer games than the normal 8 games at a major. So we'll have a little more time to hang out, which I'm looking forward to. And then Sunday, instead of cut, as has been done in the past, we'll have 4 more games of Swiss. But the players can switch decks if they like to a different deck for those 4 games of Swiss. And everybody that played on Saturday is still in the event and can keep playing to improve their record. And then after 10 total rounds of Swiss that are all going to be combined, essentially one big tournament, we'll either have a winner if somebody goes undefeated across 10 rounds, or we will do a final confrontation between the top 2 records. And they'll have to use that deck that they played on day 2, whatever deck they picked for Sunday's stuff. So it's a cool format. I'm looking forward to the way that it affects the schedule. It's a little bit less of a grind for the players and for, frankly, myself and commentary and everyone. So it'll be a little more relaxed, which is fitting based on the environment. We do things at a little more relaxed pace here in San Diego, so that works out. And then after the main event's over, we have the privilege of hosting Throtto's cubes that were so popular at Worlds. We're going to do a cube draft that everybody can play in if they like, Sunday afternoon into the evening. Aside from that, check out the forum for some extracurricular activities. There's a group of us going to Disneyland on Thursday of that week. We're going to check out Batu, the Galaxy's Edge area, especially. Going to make sure we ride Rise of the Resistance, and I don't know the name of it, but the ride where you get to pilot the Falcon, which is sweet. I'm very excited to get Smugglers Run. That might be it, yeah. So I'm excited to get 6 nerds in the cockpit of the Falcon together. That's gonna be some good pictures and a lot of good shenanigans. Yeah. It's been several years since we've had a major here in Southern California, so we're all looking forward to it, and I hope you all can attend.
And just as a reminder, pre-registration deadline is January 2nd. There's a special prize for all of.
Yeah, special prizes pre-registering, and there's also going to be a couple incentives that are in the prize support post for San Diego. Incentives to not drop, and hopefully everyone plays the 10 games out, just because that has a little bit of an impact on SOS. And then the way that the event, as Show was mentioning, like the cube won't start until the main event, or at least the cut to the final 2 is done. So you should be able to do both of the big events. Okay, so next, just a quick reminder on the Santa JNAP Free Foil Fest. That ends about, I think, 9 or 10 days from now. I have lots of extra foils I need to get rid of because I just got a huge batch of new ones from Kevin, and I'm going to continue. So it's a good way for casual players to earn the Mace Windu AI lightsaber. You just got to play 10 games. So details on that are in the forum general discussion. I think it's sticky at the top. But you just sign up and jump, play a bunch of games, and go from there. Next, donations program. So I probably should show these off when I announce the prizes. So again, our 8 Advocate Award winners are going to be getting their choice of a box. I have here BB-8 and Grand Admiral Thrawn. These are awesome. I can't wait to give these out. They're all in my garage right now. They're taking up a lot of space. But the turnout for the donations program has been incredible. We are, in the first month, approaching what we did for all of last year, which is awesome. And basically through the first month of last year, we're more than double what we received. So I don't know, some of that is just people are more aware and more eager to donate early, especially with the extra incentive we had. So maybe it'll trail off more so than it did last year, but maybe it won't. Maybe some people are just going to donate a little later in the window, and that's totally fine. But yeah, big thanks to everyone. I also got again, more AI slips from Kev. These are the Sideways, I Must Be Allowed to Speak, and Bow to the First Order, which might be kind of hard to see, but I don't know. These will be, the Bow to the First Order was teased in the donation announcement. And actually, the I Must Be Allowed to Speak was also teased in the forum for the donation. So you get a good look at the picture for those. So that's donations. Thank you to everyone thus far. Tomorrow's the last day for cutoff on the early, where you get your choice of like a water bottle, a winter hat, one of these PC trucker hats, or there's one other item. The golf balls. Golf balls, which are right here. PC golf balls. I think I got through all my props. Next up, just some quick reminders.
So, quick, you want to maybe remind people when those donation prizes that are approximately going out?
Yeah, so the plan was, hey, we do a cutoff on March 15th. We order everything. We know exactly how many we need. We go from there. We try to ship everything out by June at the latest. What it might happen, I can't make guarantees here, but I mean, I think it might be a win-win. Like I said, I have a lot of these boxes in my garage. I kind of want to clear them out. I also kind of want to get the stuff into people's hands sooner, if possible. And there's been a couple of these prizes, like for example, the keychains are one of the options. The minimum keychains order is like $250, and we're not gonna get anywhere close to that. So I feel kind of confident ordering those and having them on hand. So there might be some instances. Point being that I can start sending some stuff out early. Um, Depending on what tier you are, depending on what your selections were. I hope no one gets too upset that some people have it versus others, but that also helps me in terms of spreading out the workload. Everyone will get, everything that in line with the provisions. Although the boba boxes are going fast. Those are almost, and the thing is, like, if we're like three shy, I don't know if we're going to do a whole another order. So in those cases, it might be like, or it's kind of first come first serve. People have had month 2 months to pick, but I think in most cases, um, uh, everyone will get exactly what they want. So I might start shipping some stuff out now that I have some foils. Keychains were ordered. The spatulas were ordered today. The playing cards were ordered. These things might take like 3, 4, or 5 weeks to come through. But there is a chance that stuff starts going out January, February, March. And like I said, there's not going to be there's going to be some type of science to it, but it's not one that people can really could have predicted. But hopefully, we're all a community. We all want get cool stuff. It's not like I'm doing anything. If favoritism, it's just kind of be like, you know, kind of keep this train moving because it is a lot of work, and I think there's benefits to centrally managing it the way I have. But one of the drawbacks is it's a lot to do all at once. So I do want to hit the deadlines, but maybe even be early in some cases. Okay. Couple more housekeeping items. So the 2023 leagues, as we talked about, Sam, one of our Advocate Award winners, he's the administrator for that. He had the post on that. Leagues can start as soon as January 1st. People can do like online leagues. They can do in-person leagues. They can do state events underneath their leagues. There'll be kind of extra prizes, so it'll be like a super league event. There's also per feedback, especially from some of our European players, we have event kits that don't include the travel vouchers and event kits that do include them, so people can kind of make the decision. They could use them for standalone states events, standalone European nationals events. They could use them for, honestly, like a local tournament weekend, as long as it's like well organized and approved. Well, you can get a prize kit for that too. Those are all available in the store, as is the league kit. Just make sure you read the guidelines and follow that. I think a lot of the organizers are probably going to be the same, but maybe they pass it on to some other people who want to step up, have an opportunity, or maybe there's a new couple leagues. As long as they're following kind of the protocol, that'll be good to have more people, and that'll feed into the next Champions League, which is going on now. But the next one, to be honest, talking with Bill and Sam, I don't know if it might make sense to do this like once a year. Just if we have like 16 leagues, or maybe like 14, and then we have a couple at larges. So who knows? No guarantee that it'll happen once a year or once every 2 years. But point being, participate in leagues, try hard to win, do well, and have fun. And the Champions Leagues are a really cool event. Recently, Joe hosted a stream on the top 25 players. That's actually, he put us on his YouTube channel, but we can kind of leverage it into our featured. So go to the PC YouTube channel. It's one of the featured videos. Check that out. Justin Desai finished in first. Joe was second. Bash in third. But yeah, just a really cool exercise, and it's fun. And some good discussion about what's going on in the game. So I recommend everyone check that out. Last item, and then we'll do our closing. Batmouse's 7th HMPC. Sign-ups are going on that. Just go to forum.starwarsccg.org. Go to the board index. It's one of the upcoming events. All the information about how to sign up, what you got to do. Timeline cutoffs are December 25th. Definitely do that. Sign up for that. It's a lot of fun. Don't be intimidated if you're a new player. There's lots of new players. Last year, I think we had 110 people sign up. Not everyone is a superstar. Definitely encourage everyone to sign up for that. And I feel bad for anybody who gets matched up against Scott, because that means you're going to go kind of crazy in planning on what you're going to face.
Good luck with that metagaming.
Yeah.
I hope you know what the bluff rules do.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see. As I went through all this, so the remasters. There's a posting announcements on the remastered. All information about that from Christian. Article on the homepage about the San Diego Super Open. StarWarsCCG.org. It's on news. Just reiterating here, donations program. Talked about that. Leagues. We talked about that. Champions League's going on. Probably some games. Quick shout out. I think Dan's going to try to do like a ton of streams. There's going to be a lot of games this weekend, because a lot of people are waiting for the new set to drop to play their games. I seriously think there might be like 30 games happening Saturday and Sunday. So that'll be fun. Fun like December madness. And then, yeah, so the YouTube page is here. This is Joe's videos up here, as well as other cool featured videos. This cool Champions League logo made by our Advocate of the Year award, or not Advocate, our Volunteer of the Year award winner, Christian. And here's the Batmouse forum. And yeah, so last thing, this courtesy again, notice the theme of one of our another Advocate Award winners. We have a logo. So a lot of people have seen this PC20 logo many times this year. If I could show it, let's see, here we go. All right, so, no, not that one, PC20 logo. Yeah, so let me show that. You know what I gotta do, sorry. Content. There we go. All right, so this logo was created by Kevin Yop. Very cool, Emerald 20th anniversary. We used it a lot this year, our 20th anniversary. Our chartering was April 30th. Awesome. I think we're gonna transition a little bit. We had, in 2021, it was the 25th anniversary of the game. We had a really cool graphic for that. Austin Madison made it with Vader and Luke dueling like a silhouette. We have this one for 2022. And for 2023, we have another really sweet graphic that I just got like an hour before the show. Let me turn this one off. And this is going to be our 2023 logo. We can use this lots of things. It's R2D2 2023. So I think this looks really cool. We got some things we can use for branding for it. And I think it's just cool just to stay fresh, use this stuff for all different types of things, and just shows kind of the evolution of our graphics team, our marketing team, all the different teams under the PC that have just continually gotten better in lots and lots of ways. So that was a nice little surprise, I think, to end the show on, so keep an eye out for that. With that, I am at a loss of words after babbling a lot, but thanks to everyone for tuning in. Thanks to Show and Keith for joining, and congratulations to all the Advocate Award winners and the Content Creator winners and Superlatives for like Rookie of the Year. Let me just toss it to Show and Keith if they have any kind of parting remarks here as we're about to sign off.
I mean, I think that was a pretty good wrap up. Thanks, Jared, for telling all this. Good job talking. Yeah, thanks to all our volunteers. Thanks to everyone for all the tireless work you do. Anyone who wants to volunteer, we're always accepting applications for inquiries. I will as well. So it's always work that can be done. And it goes, or it gets appreciated, and we see you. So thanks, everyone.
Yeah, I would just second what both of the other gentlemen said. That we have so many awesome volunteers, community members, content creators. It's really an honor to continue to be a part of the organization and see how we've been able to grow and evolve over the years, and are continuing to do so into the future. So I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday season, and look forward to seeing many of you in San Diego in January.
Yep. Here. All right. Congratulations again. Everyone take care. May the force be with you. And we will see you around.